guess it's just in comparison to the map of Mirage, which they've been playing so regularly as of recent. Nonetheless, it's not in the pool this time. We get a bit of a change, Vince, and we're already into their T side.
Can they fare better in the pistol? No, and he can't, Tom. Spoiler warning, they're going to get wrecked. Oh my God. That's one of the quickest pistols you'll ever see. He's a very humble guy, incredibly skilled, not having any issues in taking some of the more difficult roles, but it is going to be Rigon while flashbang taking off the head of Olof, and that opens up some business over on Ivy.
The interesting thing there is they won 0 pistol rounds, so that's not including pistol rounds. Their 4 spies were pretty good. They did a lot with the Deagles, and they're starting to do it again, Vince. That's already another. Kirby goes down. Brokey looking around, trying to find the angle onto one of these players. He spots out Esperanto, his Baltic brother, but the fact is it's Spinks doing most of the damage. Rain already tagged, and Spinks is just going ham. 3 kills with the Deag. Cold, the only one remaining.
2 players exceptionally low, 1 bullet away from death, and Spinks, the only healthy-ish player that he has to really contend with, and it will be Spinks, the Israeli, putting the Deagle to use.
Definitely was humble back then as well. But when it comes to players like Spinks, I haven't necessarily seen too much from him. He really impressed me yesterday. Like, individually so solid. And that seems to be the thing with this roster. Now, Esperanto, I'm hoping we get to see his secondary ult when it gets onto the CT side. He didn't pick it up yesterday. It was a role that's sort of been taken. And Kyobi's actually making this one relatively costly. Rigon's just killed himself. Now we're in a 2v2.
Oh, Cold Zero with the Deag from downtown, puts it in the head of Esperanto, and there's Kirby. About to say 2 pistols, but Rigon has upgraded from Spinks to the Galil. Don't have any smokes or flashbangs, though, just the Molotov. And some M4 spray, but it is actually c0ntact that are coming out well, with Olaf Meister going in for the spray alongside Kirby, and 3 kills in quick succession will put FaZe into a 3-on-1. It was looking grim for a few moments after Main got aggressed on, and Snappy, the Danish element of c0ntact, stumbles against his compatriot of Kirby.
He's gonna go back for more. Trying to find out information, but maybe slightly an overface. Already had the man advantage, and that's always the thing. Like, this map is one that allows for an awful lot of aggression. That is a really nice nade as well, and Rain, he just turns the tide once again. Doesn't overface, doesn't overcommit, just smokes off and falls back. They're probably going to have to reposition because Kirby's spot is not really safe anymore if they don't have pop control. The remainder of the T's, well, Ivy is being watched, but it's watched from afar, and this almost feels like a domino effect. I feel like if 1 kill goes the way of the T's, then everything falls apart. Kirby, though, maybe not. He's trying to hold it together. He's the tape for the team.
He has had 1 already. Okay, there you go.
He got insta-killed by Cold Zero on B, and then Esperanto picked it up. So,
that was the really
had
push.
One.
Right.
Yeah. He just got owned. I think it was glass cannons. This is the first time he's actually had it with Kevlar. Yeah, he had it for such a short time. I'm not surprised you missed it. And again, like, they get the opening pick, and then there's no real fallback. There's no real push together. One man pushes out Ivy. There's a good reaction from Olaf, but it has come back to a 2v2. Otto's AWP finally being able to be put to use. We're left holding our breath, but somehow he managed to make it work. He's walking backwards into Ivy, though, and needs to make sure he catches this close player. He is going to check and wins the duel. That may be the most important duel of the round, because that allows them a lot safer plant positions, although I'm a little bit wary for Otto, because he's currently holding. If he goes down, this gives Cold a real chance.
It doesn't. Cold doesn't actually have to go out and peek, but he does for your information.
Thus far, it's been a little bit slower. Now, he does have his ult back into this round, but his opponent is also with 1 in play. Rigon, however, is going to go down trying to push the edge of the smoke, and that's almost too easy a kill for Olaf to take.
Olaf Meister's been around the block too many times to catch him off guard, and Ivy when he's holding that angle. This is a map that, in many of his previous teams, he was a monster on. Used to wield the AWP quite a few times. Curious to see what happens in the future if they do go for double AWPs. And Brokey showing that they don't need to. As long as they have 1 in his hands, seeming like it's going to come to an abrupt end. And that's just in time for FaZe. They can now start to build that economy. No kill forthcoming. Olaf will pick up the AWP. No, actually decides against it. Wants to hold on to the AK.
He'll be playing a pretty close angle, one that's fairly easy to get overwhelmed. Also has an incendiary ready, but he's not going to be throwing it out. Just holds the angle. Instant first shot. Second as well for ColdZera. And now, well, they've got to go for this. The bomb's down on the deck, and he's making this look easy. They might have found him earlier on the edge of the smoke, but this time the timing wasn't so lucky.
Similar situation to Otto in the previous round. No control over the bomb, and really just maybe trying to think of some ideas for the next round in terms of a call. And ColdZera puts the 4K down range. Countermeasures deployed. Doesn't have much left, though, in surplus. Only one flash to go, but now has Brokey coming in. Here come the swell of grenades, blotting out the sun with smokes. ColdZera steps up to the mantle, puts 2 kills down range, 2 HP to his name, and tons of damage to Snappy. It's a 2-on-2, but ColdZera's given them a very good chance of clutching this one out. It's going to be a post-plant on top of everything else, and they have 2 AKs to come back with. Esperanto's timing is slightly off. He got a bit sidetracked, I think, from that flashbang that threw him out of a loop. But Snappy will get the drop on the first. No idea as to where Olofmeister is. He's about to find out firsthand. The bullet sprayed out from the top of the train. Snappy behind in terms of hit points. But Olofmeister turns around at the worst possible moment. He outgames himself. And they're not slowing down either, Tom. Snappy feeling it after clutching that 1v2. Now going back out into the open again. He's had mixed success. A couple rounds he's got plenty of entries and sometimes picked off first. 3v3. Olof holding it down on the trains, dropping down as Spinks gets the upper hand onto the veteran. A Swede will have to be on the bench for a little bit longer. We'll have to think twice about re-peaking on his low HP. Now a HE tossed in case he's playing up close. This is mainly to bait out for Rigon, though. The bomb is planted for his location, but now that his teammate's gone down, it may force Rigon into some overextended peaks, and in doing so, he gives himself up to the Brazilian, who devours him whole. Outside of Pop Dog, maybe going to be going in for a pop flash into a push. Esperanto, typically one of those players that you're looking at to perform well. As Olofmeister opens his account on Ivy, he goes down, but damage inflicted. Also saw the bomb drop out. They know it's an A hit. They'll have to position accordingly. ColdZera again, and again is showing his worth. And his team are a player to the good, but for how much longer is yet to be seen. Otto goes in for 1. It's another even trade. 1v1, slight health advantage favoring Esperanto. And the Lithuanian up against the Norwegian, looking to come out with a wide swing and gets it done. They do end in winning ways.
Here we go. Snappy, good position. Esperanto going to be the one taking contact. A. But we'll see if they can actually hold this position. They're also getting smoked out from afar, so this could become quite awkward. In fact, Esperanto's going to opt to fall all the way back, and Rain has already got that opening pick. They look to try and pressure, and it's not happening, Vince. No miracles are coming alive today. 2 players remaining. Make that just 1. Snappy had a pretty decent first half, at least individually. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Okay, we got 1. He needs 4 more. An absolute miracle needed, and he's being surrounded, and Kirby denies. And it was like a bloke who'd attach his phone to a telescope. And I was like, that's the most pointless piece of equipment I've ever seen. Deagles again! Spinks! He's so damn good with the dirty Deag. He'll get 2. And bomb's still going to go down. After plumps, this is so stupid. Every time! They can't win a pistol, but give them different pistols that kill people while they've got armor. They do absolutely... Maybe they should just buy Deagles in the actual pistol round. But Kirby, he's given them a damn good fight back. 3 kills already. Olov as well is waiting on the ramp. It looks like he's just playing the game of denying the defusal. And considering they don't have a kit available to them at all, they need to get this kill onto Kirby. He's in fact gone for the ace. Seemingly needed to deny the Deagles of this squad. He's going to go all the way around. Snappy eventually takes him out, but there is no time left on the clock. They survive what was looking like a pretty brutal round for them. And you have to feel bad for Spinks, because that's, again, he got 4 Deags in round number 2.
It's not just winning, it's holding on to as many of these players as possible as well. Snappy nearly loses his life. Rain's been another player that started very hot indeed over on Pop Dog. Comes right round the corner, takes Snappy off. There's still 30 seconds, and they have the bomb under control. This round maybe hasn't been closed off just yet. Olof flanking round the back. If he guesses correctly, Otto will be a dead man. He's about to find Otto, shuts him down with a headshot. 17 seconds, and now FaZe are pushing onto the site, but the timing is brutal. Rain at at least deals with the threat of Esperanto going for the plant. Spinks goes through the smoke. Can he actually shut down Rain, who comes off the bomb? He was caught in two minds, and in doing so, he succeeded in neither.
It could be a far more dominant performance from FaZe Clan, but c0ntact are clinging on. This round, however, has to be a win, and it has to be clean, as you mentioned. If they lose too many players here, sure, there's probably not going to be a buy in the next round either because of the money of FaZe still being awful, but Spinks again. I was going to bring up a stat that I'm fairly certain. Nonetheless, looks like FaZe have their sights set on the A site. Bomb and two other players looking to go towards Ivy, put some pressure onto Otto. Hasn't had the best game so far, but we haven't seen the AWP from him much over on this CT side. And with a two-man pick up, a bomb dropped, and only one man around that angle. It is, however, c0ntact, who, as we've said, has been lights out so far. He's been fantastic, and he's going to get the kill. Swings wide, looks to make this a little bit more costly. It's a round that's looking in failure, but if anybody could win it so far, it has been him. He picks Rigon out of the air, but he is being flanked. Does he expect Snappy to round the corner? Peeking out into Ivy, a nade thrown would give the game away, so he needs to try and keep himself hidden, and Spinks, he is there to deny.
Well, they flash him in for a peek. If not, coldzera should have him. There's the flash. Oh, no, he whiffs the spray. Those are shots he guaranteed gets yesterday when we were seeing him play exceptionally well. And what an impact at 12-11 this could end up being. They honestly should have both died there, Tom. And instead, they'll be given the green light to start to aggress towards the site. Otto's fallen to the hands of Off. Esperanto opens up from heaven. Can't see the bomb planter. It's in amongst all the smoke. And now the smoke begins to fade, as will Esperanto. Spinks at range, 19 kills to his name, doing plenty of damage to c0ntact. Dropped down to 11, but more damage inflicted to Snappy. He gets tagged up from Brokey's AWP. He'll try and play possum up on the ladders, but the same could be said the other way round. They have themselves c0ntact, who's waiting in the wings. There's the first. He'll spin around. He's baiting up enough time for Brokey to white swing onto Spinks. Oh, certainly not. He can still bank on these two AWPs, but Rain just sat in bathrooms waiting for that push. Esperanto's also pushed up. He's using that pillar. There's a little bit of sanctuary. I'm surprised that Rain even tagged him. I thought he would go and check. 30 seconds. Snappy will be smoked off, allowing safe passage for the two Ts to push out. Otto, though, also on the back of Ivy, makes his position known before Brokey pushes straight through the smoke. Down the heart of Snappy. Esperanto will get Olofmeister, not anticipating the connector push, and now Brokey knows exactly where he is. Goes out aggressive. Oh, what a shot to Esperanto, but he has to go retrieve the bomb. There's not much time left. There will be enough time, though, for the plant, and he goes for the risk. He plants it out in the open, knowing that the player was last seen in Ivy, but Otto was too busy looking towards spawn. I'm not sure why he didn't push in. Maybe anticipated it was a fake. But now Brokey has every chance to clutch this after a lightning fast scope into the first player. He's now positioned himself, the timing slightly against him. Going to be smoking down onto the site. Try and draw him out. Otto has no kit. There's a small gap in the smoke, and Brokey may have just seen him jump up. He wants to get up close and personal with his AWP. Gives his position away. There shouldn't be any time anyway. Even if Otto takes him down, Brokey's clutched this. What a play from the young Latvian.
Almost looked like he yawned midway through that clutch.
Damage to Spinks is significant. Actually forces his hand to go back up on the train, and in doing so, there's a flash there to greet him. Had to turn to shield his eyes from the burn. And the AK still melts him. And with that evaporation of the defense being annulled at the back portion, there's 3 players waiting, but hefty mollies. 3 of them, a trifecta keeping them at bay, keeping them at arm's reach, while the Swiss player, the Swiss element, tries to come out into the open. But all he'll find is Olof and a c0ntact who is starved of kills. The bloodlust has descended. He is insatiable.
Going further aggressive. However, Rigon, he wants to fight this. He's watching. They're lining up their smokes. He's going to get into a more aggressive position. They'll never expect him to be here. Absolutely no chance. They're all going to go walking past. He's got a chance again at a multi-frag. Is he going to get it done this time? It's 2 at least. And he's retrieved the AWP. Redemption for Rigon. And he's put his team in with a chance.
It's a chance, but he does get headshot instantly, and that puts it down to Snappy on 46 HP. Rigon really couldn't have done too much more. And now the Dane has his hands on an AK. The bomb is traversing across rapidly onto B site. where Brokey will get it planted. Coldzera is waiting, close angle. There's a knife out for Snappy, and that will be all she wrote for Train. FaZe get it done. They break the hearts of c0ntact and take their choice of map.
The flank already coming in, though. It's whether or not Esperanto can deny enough time. Bear in mind, I think Snappy said for the last 4 games they played, they got something like 3 pistol round wins or something ridiculous. It's not good, but this one might be going a little better. A first pistol round coming up for them in this series could be about to happen, as finally they're getting themselves through. It's left onto Brokey, and c0ntact have broken the chain.
Like, sure, he did pad his stats somewhat and against the full eco, but he did a lot of work in the pistol. It was the last line of defense, but he's gone down after taking out Rain. A 1-for-1 trade. FaZe will happily take that, especially as it is the Lithuanian that falls and is prey to the aggression. Another smoke out, flashbang tossed into middle. It's all a ruse. The rest of FaZe now pushing through onto the site. It's only Snappy here with an MP9. Nades now firing in, and oh, Wolof spins around and takes the head off of Snappy. I was sure he was a dead man. And just like that, the kill comes out, and c0ntact have to say.
Especially a map that, well, it's not great, I would say, statistically for either side, but obviously FaZe have played a lot more matches and against a lot better teams. There's a lot more to be thrown in by the FaZe clan. Otto in a decent position, but again, it's a ruse. They're trying to bait them into a rotation. I think it's worked as well. Esperanto goes peeking into mid. He drops the bomb for a second, but now Spinks has to go ham. Being spammed through the smoke, they've also managed to take down a player looking to try and rotate. Bit of an awkward fight. And actually, Coldzera, he gets tagged from mid. Rigon drops the bomb again. And with only 30 seconds left, they have to go on a retrieval mission.
They have a smoke and a Molotov they can toss down towards the CT side. They both peek, and Coldzera tapping the head off of Rigon. We'll see Olof close it out in style.
Well, we're back to pistols. As you said, it's not gone great, and it doesn't look like it's about to get any better. They set themselves up perfectly in that round, and eventually it just fell apart. Yerby. Stop anybody getting cheeky, but they're still going to try and push onto short. Coldzera is still waiting at the top of mid, and actually Kirby going back for more. He's just taking the same shot again, and Coldzera gets that one for free. Esperanto also getting spotted now, and this round's looking very easy indeed for FaZe.
Yep, the pieces falling into place. Spinks maybe can get the drop on Kirby, who seemingly has sussed this out, realized that was a possibility.
There's been very, very little to write home about if you are a c0ntact fan. And for FaZe, it seems like wherever they want to take, they normally get it for free. Nice shot, though, from Snappy. And finally, we see an actual, take. They battle for long. They take map control away. With plenty of clutch capability. Rigon's actually gone all the way around through mid. So they have all the information here. They have to know it's B at this point.
Now they certainly do. Spink spots Coldzera getting boosted. No stilts in Counter-Strike. Where one sits, another may follow. Rigon through middle, now making moves. Oh, that spray. I tell you what, for a second, his heart was in his throat. Mine certainly was.
I think his name was Kim. Either way, it is going to be Esperanto with the AWP on the cross. And hey, he's doing a pretty mean job with it. They should have got this in on train. Tag me in. I know what we're doing. Actually, they've got an analyst. I can't even say that. I was going to say coach, and I was like, I don't want to try and challenge Neil M.
You know, through Catwalk, if you just hit straight up B, you can actually catch them completely off guard, and maybe just one player is there watching it. It will be Spinks with the AUG. We've already seen him do a pretty good job of holding this. Second flash was not good. It's done more harm than good. And now Spinks with 2. He finally goes down, but the damage has been inflicted so heavily by Esperanto's AWP again.
Probably not completely happy with how that round went, and after plant position, losing 3 players is not ideal. And now Kirby, he was the best player in the last map, has achieved very little in this one, and Rigon has come back kicking. He had a real rough time, but now he's starting to trounce the side of FaZe, gets himself up to 12 kills, and Olaf trying to get back through mid, find some space. Snappy already in play. Now, it's possible the Spinks comes under pressure here. He's got the AWP on the B site. push is coming through the window, but he's found the kill on the boost in play. Almost flawless round. In fact, it was a flawless round from c0ntact. Only a little bit of damage onto Rigon, and
as soon as FaZe ran into that blockade with a couple players performing well in middle, the likes of Esperanto, they just didn't really have a plan B or any ideas like what they can do to adapt to it. Rain, though, gets the freebie onto Snappy, who decides to peek in, but Spinks is right back in with one of his own. 4-play-4.
Well, they finally shut down Rigon. He's been pushing that an awful lot, and it looks like pressure might be coming here onto Otto. Still playing an aggressive stance, and this time he lands the shot. Looked like it was his time to shine, but the second doesn't quite land. Esperanto, though, there's no way you'd expect him to be here. Two orcs both playing A. That's a weird one. And ColdZera lurking out long. Puts it back in their favor. Spinks gets shut down through mid. And we end with a 9-6 half. Still much to be desired for FaZe Clan. Yeah, I'd probably go ahead and say #1 fan. Like, I do own one of 3 crazy jerseys that exist with his name on them. So, you know, if someone can compete with that, then all for it. I can't get c0ntact one because they don't exist. But ColdZera, he is waiting at the back of the site. Nice nade from Kirby, and he's going to flash back in. A perfect flash to hold them off as well. I don't think they're going to be improving their pistol round percentage anytime soon, although Snappy comes flying down from above. Spider-Man jump to get him into position, and although his senses may have been tingling,
he can easily turn around and bolster up that A play. That's what's happening now. So Esperanto, how is your luck? Meanwhile, the push is coming out towards Catwalk. No one checks the close angle on boxes, but Rain only gets 1. I genuinely thought he was going to do better, and now Esperanto doesn't necessarily need to push through long doors. He still gets the headshot anyway. It's all falling apart for FaZe.
Yeah, luckily they've got Cold, though. And he is going to bring one back. Kirby sneaking his way through. And there's still a battle for long. Like, Esperanto may be low, but just his presence here alone is enough. Otto just about wins the duel. But now the time becomes a problem. It's going to be a force buy victory. As said, this is something that c0ntact are so dangerous at. And I am starting to wonder if we're going to see the Tech-9 used more and more. Maybe if you get a bit lucky with teammates. But it's just like, at the moment, in the last map, Kirby was easily the best player. Now they go into their map choice. And they're losing almost every single duel, and that's the difference. Like, there doesn't seem to be a backup plan. Then again, though, he can always rise back up. There's still time for them to turn this tide. And how do you do your puzzles?
I don't. I don't have the prerequisite IQ, mate.
Just tips the box onto the floor, pieces fly everywhere.
Yeah. Done it completely. On to the next one. Esperanto's got an entry, but that's going to be short-lived. And now it's down to the Finn. With a molly and control of the bomb, plant should be forthcoming. He may get peaked just before he finalizes it. In the last couple of milliseconds, ColdZera shows his hand. You know, at the stage of the first half when things weren't going well for them, to just mix it up. Rain, though, is stuck at the backside of the site. There's a Molotov right next to him. The flick from Brokey is good. May get peaked again. Needs Rain to come good, and he does. He holds it down. And Brokey quickly activates behind, shutting out the flanking Rigon. Now, the bomb will go down successfully, but all the rest of the T's have been barraged by bullets. And FaZe Clan will have another successful retake, and only at the cost of 2 lives.
And it looks like FaZe are going to do exactly the same thing again. So this is now 3 rounds in a row where they have initially stacked this position. And again, we're seeing the exact same push out, but with a slight change. They're going to try and rush up short at the same time. However, Brokey is already back in position by this point, and he's just styling on them. Only pistols against him, and the Latvian is just rocking their world. 12-11.
Rain with the spray, and ColdZera is trying to peek in just below the smoke. Brokey, aggression, hiding behind the staircase. It's not a spot that FaZe have played too often. There's more than enough time to reposition and getting 2. That is massive from Brokey again. And a molly just behind it will stop the push from coming in unless they smoke it off, which they have.
Oh!
Esperanto, that spray transfer is a thing of beauty. And now FaZe have a 1v2, and Kirby has to clutch out.
It's turned into the battle of the Baltics. Brokey on one side, Esperanto on the other, and Kirby is not going to check his angle. It's the 30 bomb. Yeah, when he used to play in the small Lithuanian leagues, he was reported regularly for cheating. I would know because I casted those matches, and a lot of people thought messaging me would make a difference about it. Turns out, dude's just nuts. And will destroy even the players at the very top of their game. Kirby, though, Brokey, they've responded. They've left Esperanto to make a play, and he's actually just going to cross. The problem is the bomb's still behind. They're going to try and throw it over, but it hasn't gone the full way. Getting this might be a little bit risky, and I think he's just about gained it. This is risky in itself from Esperanto. Looking to peek back in with the bomb. Instead, Snappy trying to support, but he's got to be careful. There is a player towards long, already looking to make a move. He spotted him, but Esperanto's now gone down. It's up to the Dane to try and hold on, and he gets nothing done.
c0ntact facing elimination, fighting their hardest to get back into this match, now have a beeline towards the site. They have to contend with the Brazilian of coldzera, and Rigon puts him down with the AK.
This might end up being a save call, but with Olof finding one back in, Esperanto gone, and Push looking to come back in onto this A site. They have a real chance in this round. Smoke will fall. Looking like he might push through it. The spam coming through. Otto's actually just going to peek in and take down Kirby instead. Now, CT's, I think, realizing the time is ticked. He goes jumping down.
Let's have a look at those finances then, shall we? Can't justify going for a force. I'm surprised with 1500. They decide to go aggressive into tunnels instead. And coldzera with a USP of all guns puts down Rigon, can trade up to his assault rifle, and with Olofmeister on the back of the site and a smoke down perfectly, he can now use that to his advantage. But Otto was a step ahead. He anticipated that peak, puts down Olofmeister, alleviates some of the pressure, and opens up business towards the site. Brokey on Gandalf, waiting to try and show himself in amongst all of the chaos that coldzera is distributing with his deagle. Kia B now headshot onto Otto, and there goes Brokey. Snappy 1-on-3 must be wondering how this came about, how he's up against the world. The bomb is planted for his location. Oh, that one tap is beautiful onto Brokey. There's no kit between the two of the players either. He may be able to finalize this one. And then meanwhile, they're trying to bait him out into the open, wait for his bullets to deplete. Is there going to be enough time? They stick on it. They've got a kit. FaZe will successfully get the defuse.
Yeah, I hate to see Esperanto only with the deagle. Like, don't get me wrong, he's fantastic with it, but he's been your best player. I don't know why he... Okay, maybe not. Maybe he's just going to walk in and insta-1D Brokey. Who cares then? If he does that, I don't think they're going to mind. Rotation's in faster, and Rain, he's managed to hold on to this back corner. It makes things pretty awkward for the T's to get a strong after-plant position, and in fact, they're trying to clear him out before they do so. Rigon, he's had a real resurgence from the last map. And Otto, he's starting to make a comeback as well. It's looking like the 15th is theirs. A risky force buy, but a risk converted. As FaZe now sit back on their own map choice.
Tom, I mean, please correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like every single round for c0ntact has been A. At least 90% of them. And that's why Rigon takes the head off of Rain. They can now charge towards the site. And this time around, FaZe may have assumed that that B hit was incoming. They guessed incorrectly. They've got to scamper over there and try and save this map. Their choice of map. There's Spinks now coming up clutch, up close with the M4. Throwing in the Molotov, and Rigon is doing all the damage around him. You have Olof stuck in the smoke. I don't think that grenade necessarily bounced off him, so they may not anticipate that he's in here, but he's now the last chance they have. Bomb is being dropped down from Olof P250. He's gone in for another one, but Esperanto is going to convert, and it's fitting it's Esperanto, because he just had potentially the performance of his career. And now Rigon has to watch downstairs. FaZe, who did make up a lot of ground in secret, are deciding better of that, and they're going to go back in towards main. This is actually a pretty solid call, considering that Olof is perched just outside of Squeaky. They forced away tons of rotations downstairs, and now c0ntact is stuck in the vents. This is an excellent call from FaZe that will at least yield a bomb plant, and it's looking like the round on top of it. Rain, beautiful one tap, will be going back in for another one. He spots Esperanto, who's on secret stairs, does come out with one of his own. Needs to pick up Rain, gets Rain down. They still have a chance. They still have a way back into this round. Time is dwindling away from the bomb. Snappy now is the next player up. He gets tagged down to 1 HP, but still alive. He's drawing some of those T's away. Esperanto now comes back in for another one. He's not showing any signs of slowing down after that Dust 2 performance, but even for a player of his stature and magnitude, it was never really going to happen. And now Snappy has to try and survive on his measly 1 HP. And maybe he can shut down coldzera in the back. Does get it done.
I feel like c0ntact are very momentum-based, like they're confidence-based. If their players feel like they're going to win the round, chances are they do, no matter the weaponry they have. So I think they need to break back a little bit earlier just for their mental state.
Well, Snappy may be that man. Live up to his name. Snap into some headshots. But he does go on the receiving end of one. Rigon now with a deagle. There's 3, and Spink steps up to the plate and dispatches with haste. You talked about confidence. It is the kind of play that, again, you normally say you can't really rely on for c0ntact, but they've done it so many times, I don't think I necessarily agree with that statement. Esperanto gets the freebie as Otto draws away some attention after taking out Kirby outside. Esperanto with another, just tap, tap, tap to the head of coldzera. And if there is going to be a response, it won't be coming in round 4. Brokey, last man alive. Strange angle from Snappy that catches him off guard, and it's a clean sweep. Not a single point of health was lost.
Well, the investment's there, but it's not great. They've had to use most of their utility outside and actually gone for the close wall of smokes. Although there was an extra smoke thrown down that I'm a little bit confused by. Esperanto, though, playing outside, has been having a field day. We've seen him now get a couple of kills around this position. Escaping from here might be quite tough, and in fact, he'll get caught. Rigon at the same time also goes down, and the re-aggression from Snappy. Kirby's just waiting for it. In fact, they push after push after push, and it is kill after kill.
coldzera has been pretty outspoken about IGLing and how much it affects his gameplay, his issues with doing it. So I wonder if after a performance like that on Dust 2, if there's a couple of things that are bouncing around his head. How will this get when it gets strategical? Maybe it's not required when Kirby comes back out again. 2 big kills, but Rigon will put him down.
Because of that, they're going to be able to walk back down. The rotation from Rigon as well is actually towards the A side of the map. Timing, though, could be everything. That's the freebie for Snappy, and he spotted where the move is going. They're trying to hold for him, but he ends up getting a second. It turns into a 1v1, but he has killed off both low players, Vince. And actually, Brokey's going to try and bait the rotation.
He's baited it, but Rigon, he's made the correct decision. He's gone back up towards Squeaky, running round the side, and Brokey fakes the bomb, completely catches him in transition. Not too many grenades spread amongst the 5 of them, and still a lot of time to try and fend this off. It is a wall of smokes, but in a different angle. It opens up secret, and Otto will oblige with his ult. Gets in for 1, traded back from Rain, who is looking to cause some chaos downstairs. Draw some of these CTs out into the open. Snappy is going to now go down to ramp. May very well check the trophy room. Sees nobody, but is still being careful because Esperanto spots a player outside, drops the bomb down, and that funnels FaZe into a bit of an awkward position. Spinks will hold his nerve for 1, and now Brokey goes in before he gets slapped back. Breaking the deadlock down in round 11. Under a minute to play with. Well-placed incendiary. Cordons off coldzera, but Esperanto walks out into the open, clearly not anticipating that coldzera could be bypassing that molly just by playing a little bit more passive. Otto, with his orb, will shine, but coldzera drops downstairs, and he does have control over the bomb. So as much as Rain is putting down the presence elsewhere, coldzera is now below alongside Brokey, and Spinks realizes that he needs to make a move out. He does take Rain's head. 2v2. Both players have a kit, and they're up against the AWP of Brokey, who's now mollied vent, so he's going to be able to focus his attention on secret. That they don't want to go for this. Instead, they want to save. And that's a very interesting look into the collective mind of c0ntact. I feel like some teams would have gone for this. Obviously, their economy's not fantastic. But now just sitting in garage, you welcome coldzera to go on the hunt, and he prowls and pounces. Each and every second allocated to them. It's worked out for the most part in the past. They've got rid of plenty of this utility, but now the push comes in, and how does Spinks not get a single kill? His spray was all over the place, and coldzera will punish him. They have Otto up in heaven, who gets Molotov'd out of position. With 20 seconds, the bomb finally gets planted.
And they don't really have anything to adapt or change or fall back on. And then this is a map especially where you think about CT sides where it's relatively tough to get things done aggressively, like taking control. Rigon, though, this is a nice little cleanup. He doesn't have time to do anything about the bomb, which will be going off, and he's made things nice and costly. Even gets out with a second AWP, although I'm interested to see how that's going to be utilized. Their T-side's been quite dynamic. You mentioned they've consistently been switching up the smokes, using the L smokes, the diagonal smokes, even just the standard cross. This round it's changed again, and we're going to see them try and burst into the side. It's a good start, though. Both Spinks and Otto get a frag apiece, and Rigon with a nice transfer onto the second.
I guess it goes to show how scrappy a lot of these rounds have been, honestly. And man, I will say that Rigon is making me seriously contemplate wanting to switch across to the M4A1S. Like, the way that he's aiming with this gun just makes it look so good. Obviously, when I use it, I can't hit a cow's arse with a banjo. But he's just... spin headshot, spin headshot, spin headshot. Otto, in the meanwhile, though, with his AWP, is coming alive. And it seems like c0ntact, again, have a pretty rough middle portion of the half, but they end strong. A possibility, but c0ntact have to come back from behind. 6 rounds to 9 on FaZe. They on the T side will be picking up the pace, getting straight up close and personal. Flashbang could not have been better placed on the head of c0ntact, and now Spinks and the rest of c0ntact have rummaged their way through straight onto the site, and they have great post-plant positions. It's all on FaZe to bring this back underway.
Spinks on the angle. I don't know how they get back into this, but Brokey clearly has other ideas. Already getting a couple of kills, or at least one. The trades come back thick and fast, though. It's looking like they might finally get another pistol round. Looking for 2 out of 10. It's not a great statistic for c0ntact, but if they take it at this point, yeah, it doesn't fill you with confidence, but I guess for c0ntact, getting the rounds over the line are the main thing. That nade is filthy. Spinks should be dead. He walked so far out into this site range. Blind, delayed, and eventually the trades come back. I don't know how Snappy wins the duel, but now he has to win 2 more. Both players with head armor, so the MAC-10 doesn't even have the bonus of a freebie headshot. The bomb also in the middle of the site isn't going to help him either. He will get a 1v1 duel, though. A bit of a risk taken by Olive, but feeling confident, will land the shots.
But this is such an important moment in the match. If FaZe can hold on and stabilize their economy, c0ntact are in real trouble. There could be daylight opening up, but on the other side, this could be c0ntact's way back in. And the Tech-9 rips, it tears, it nullifies some players. c0ntact runs out of ammunition. Brokey comes up with the clutch shot with the AWP, but it's down to a 2-on-2. Olofmeister, though, has been biding his time very patiently, as you'd expect from a grizzled veteran. He doesn't snatch his opportunities. He makes sure he gets the guaranteed frag, drops the bomb down, and FaZe Clan have got it.
Now, we saw from Godsent the power of an effective flash, and that's not something that is out of the realms of impossibility for this c0ntact roster. That's a good start, though. Through the edge of the smoke, they get those entries, and I didn't expect it to be Otto, but he comes up huge. He wipes down the whole site. Rigon with a great flash in as well to leave c0ntact without a hope in hell.
He's actually been very aggressive. He's been getting a lot of the opening picks, and a pretty key reason as to why c0ntact are currently playing so well. And he was one of the players that I would say it's safe to say was having a bit of a quiet opening 2 maps. Not pausing for anybody, and now he can act as that foundation linchpin. I'm really curious how he plays this. Does he just sit down there and wait for rotations? Are they just going to spring straight out? Again, there's a lack of defense on the A side. It's just c0ntact by himself. It's a slightly different take, but it's the same destination, and it looks like it'll be the same outcome. c0ntact with their 3rd consecutive successful A plant.
I think that, again, Nuke is one of those maps where we saw from Godsent, sometimes the basics works well if you have those basics to a very good point. If you have good flashbangs, if you have decent Molotovs. Something that not many teams would be willing to do. Virtus Pro always springs to mind when we think of that, but instead they're going to attempt the B site. Something we really haven't seen, not even just throughout this map, throughout the series. The B site on Dust 2 was something they eluded completely. Yet this time they've got an after plant and they're catching players on the rotation. Good job from Spinks. Brokey needs some sort of hero play. He does have Olaf Poseidon, who can at least section one off, and Rain has denied the push back up the vent, maybe expecting this to be some sort of save at this point. Instead, though, he hears the players tapping onto the bomb. Olaf has found another kill. Things are starting to fall apart. It's left onto just a couple of players. Olofmeister's gone huge, and now they're just defusing the bomb in front of Snappy. It started perfectly. A 5-on-3 situation.
utility spraying through. It's so easy to just take that underneath the nose. That's an uncharacteristic mistake from c0ntact. Take nothing away from FaZe. Their retaking was spot on, but c0ntact did themselves no favors. The flashes are good, but so are FaZe Clan's positions. They have seen this play one too many times, and of course it would make sense that after losing, you'd go back to the old faithful. But it's now betrayed them. Otto, 1-on-4. The Finn has no control over the bomb. He's getting tagged up through the walls, and c0ntact will finish him off.
Which, if they'd succeeded even marginally, would have pushed them up quite high. Instead, they finished dead last in that too. Now, sure, it doesn't help them in the Pro Tour, which I'm sure they're very far down at the moment. But nonetheless, if they can somehow bring this back, maybe they can look to up their points at least a little. A good start for Esperanto. Breathing some life into this team, Vince, as he get a double opener outside. But do they expect rain? They do! That's such a sick Molotov. Pushes him out of position, and somehow, after a round where they get wrecked, they win every battle.
That's a sick Molotov for two reasons. One, it flushes out any players that are behind that red container, but secondly, it actually messes with the vision if there's an AWPer in garage looking outside. It's a really intelligent molly that they've just tossed in there. They hadn't fully covered the garage area at that point.
And the fact is, it already looks like he's in the wrong place. Unless he can make a very quick rotation back towards this side of the map. And if you look at the map, he's the only player. What? They've just managed to get 3 kills with USP. Luckily, Rigon gets a quad spray down. I feel like someone with a split personality, as I've just quickly watched this round spring. However, Brokey, he springs into action. He comes up with another pick, dropping it down to just Esperanto. A 1v1. The Baltics facing off against each other. Which will be best, Latvia or Lithuania? As the peak comes back in and Brokey closes the round. FaZe Clan get 3 kills with USPs. Sort of play makes me uncomfortable. Being on the edge of this smoke, it's one of the most common spam spots in the entire game. However, they've managed to get both entries. 2 players go down, it's up to Rain. But he might have just done enough. A double spray down, a combination with Brokey, and it's left onto one lone Lithuanian. Esperanto, the star of the last map, over 30 kills to his name, needs another 3. This map has been a little bit more quiet and he's been spotted. They know where he is, but he's going to try and isolate Rain. He does just that. A first kill, but he loses a hell of a lot of HP. And the time is against him. 2 to find. He spots the man on the corner, gets the second as well. It's up to Brokey, who misses the shot. The first doesn't go, but the time is ticking. 13 seconds, he lands it! And we go to overtime. Esperanto saves c0ntact once again. So, Messiah, who's going to win?
You know what? I'm going to say c0ntact. I'm actually going to say c0ntact. I think momentum-wise is going to carry them forward. They have got the opening pick, and they've made sure that ramp, even though they lost a life, it doesn't go without any return. And Brokey, no scope, mid-air with Rain coming out swinging. They have control over the bomb additionally. And although Esperanto and Otto got room outside, they now have to come back through lobby. And the roles reverse in a dangerous game of cat and mouse. Rain will put down the AK one more time. Smoke deploys. Otto thinks better of perforating through there, giving his position away. But now 1-on-3. And surely the chances of Otto clutching this have got to be so slim. Looking around the corner. Oh, that shot was so close to landing, but Rain picks up a 3K. They have Rain, who's at the close edge of main with a smoke just below. Has now disappeared. As will Rain. He's been traded out by Snappy. Brokey on the retreat gets 2. It looked like c0ntact may take that kill away from him. Wasn't the case. 20 seconds to play with. Brokey nearly gets picked off trying to retreat. And now Olafmeister needs to stand his ground. Esperanto nearly finishes off Brokey. 10 seconds to go and the T's are now scurrying to the site. They can't deny this bomb plant, but maybe Brokey can stop him afterwards. He actually comes off the bomb plant. Is there enough time? Esperanto may have just thrown this round away. He has. He came off the timer. He could have stuck it.
Didn't quite get it down in time. FaZe, that's 2 very close rounds. The last one with the openers going the way of c0ntact. And now once again, we're going to see this aggression. Brokey in overtime has been something else. No scopes galore and setting his team up for success. Still, though, the trades come back. Rigon makes a move. Snappy's going to try and do the same. Kirby misses the boat a little bit, and the bomb will be able to go down this time with a little bit more time on that clock.
Yeah, this time making sure they get the plant. That's such unfortunate timing for Snappy. The second he goes to reload, he gets dropped on. Doesn't lose his life as a result, but may as well have. 3 HP left off a HE, finished off by Olofmeister. Rigon wiggling his way around the side, getting one, retaining most of his HP. Second hot shot comes through. He's got it for another one. These clutch plays on Contact are sublime.
With MR3 OT, they have the finances to do that again and again. Question is it going to work out? Because this is a fast wraparound. Already, Rain with the entry, Kirby on another. They are cleaning this side up like there was no defense to begin with. And we aren't going to see a save this time, I would hope, but it doesn't matter. There's nothing to save. They get destroyed within 40 seconds, and FaZe are again.
It feels like it's going to take something special to win 2 back-to-back rounds to take us to a second overtime, and Snappy will be called upon. He's picked up the AWP, misses the first shot, has to back away. Incendiary down, so many players coming at him. He at least gets one, and he's done a chunk of damage to 3 more players, but it's opening up business downstairs. They now need to deal with the man Rigon. Off the back of a crazy play, he's in pole position to strike once more. Spinks holds the line for the 1 frag. Brokey, though, won't be called upon because it's Kirby behind him that takes the head off of Rigon, and now a 2v2 falls upon us, and a real chance at a clutch for Contact. Kirby's been smacked down by Otto's AWP, and it's gonna be Brokey who comes straight back in. And with a minute to play with, he can have the choice of either side, but he's going back down to B. And it's Esperanto that's waiting there, but Brokey takes his head off straight away. There are no more heroes, only FaZe remains.
Inject this game straight into my veins. Like, there is no narcotic that you can give me that is a better drug than this match. It's a shame it had to end, but FaZe...